Welcome to the Monday, February 21st edition of Suess Eyes in the Skies. Whether nice weather from next week we making a comeback or we're beginning some snow like that was happening up north recently. Stay tuned after this to find out.
It's Wednesday night on ISU TV. Broadcasting live from Ames, Iowa, this is Suess Eyes on the Skies. ISU TV's longest running television show brings you the weather around the country, in Iowa, Ames, and beyond. The Iowa State Meteorology Department's team of forecasters keeps you ahead of the next weather system. Suess Eyes on the Skies starts now.
So, it looks like we got a nice return to winter here today.
Unfortunately, we did. I mean, I tell you what, to go from the mid-60s on Thursday, and it's just been all downhill since then, it's been a real rude awakening, to say the very least. I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, we saw flurries today on the back end of that system that passed through to our friends to the north. We'll talk about that more later, of course.
Yes, they got something special there.
Well, plenty of snow, and luckily enough, we stayed out of it. We were lucky enough to have rain on Sunday and have warmer temperatures than our friends to the north. And even some places got to see ice. So, hey, you know what? Here's the problem, though. You know, we had all that snow melt. It was great. But now, I mean, obviously, winter's not quite done yet. I believe it's in 4 weeks we have left of winter. So we just got to keep hanging on. And we're kind of toying and walking the line right now between winter and spring. But, you know, out there right now, it sure feels like winter is back.
Yeah. For a bit there, I thought that groundhog may have actually been right there, but looks like, as usual, this is going to go in the loss column. You know, he only has like a 30% accuracy, so.
Yeah, well, I know. I don't know. We really need to get a groundhog in Iowa, I think, but I don't think the groundhog can actually understand Iowa weather, maybe. But
it's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, oh, it is. And by the way, we did see flurries today. So, I mean, it was not enough to accumulate to anything, of course, but.
Yeah, and then later we'll find out, too, as well, if we got any larger storms coming up in our future at all with our Iowa. So.
It was just cold and windy today.
And speaking of our Iowa, why don't we take it right over here to Liz and see what's going on?
I'm liking Tyler's groundhog idea. But yeah, definitely flurries today. It was a little colder. I personally love this weather, so I was very happy that it was colder today. But it was nice to get those few thunderstorms early Sunday morning.
Yeah,
so.
I even heard that thunder extend all the way up into Minnesota with some thunder snow even.
I know, I was jealous. I wanted to be up there. But if we could take a look at the day planner really quick, we can see tonight, not much going on tonight into tomorrow. You can see 23 degrees at midnight. Northwest wind around 15 to 20 miles an hour. About 6 a.m. tomorrow, you can see right around 20 degrees, so it'll still be a pretty chilly night, although by 3 p.m. the sun could start peeking out, and we could see temperatures right about 33 degrees. So definitely a nice day ahead.
That sounds like we could maybe have some of that nice weather on the way back. We'll see here. So yeah, thank you, Liz. All right, and we'll take it to a break and stay tuned to see what's coming up next. Welcome back to Suess Eyes on the Skies. Let's see what's going on over in the world of weather news with Tyler.
Well, thank you very much, Nick. There's always exciting stuff to talk about in weather news tonight. And so we're going to start by not looking at what you're about to see behind me, but instead going and looking at our, you got to hide that. Hold on. We're going to go to the internet now. We need the internet graphics, if we will. Can we switch over to that? There we go. All right. So as you know, over the weekend, we did miss out on a pretty nasty storm, actually. All the snow and ice went up all the way to the north, and we were on the rainy side of it. We were on the warm side of that low. So we didn't get to see any of that snowfall accumulation, but our friends in South Dakota and Minnesota did. As you see over here, pretty big bullseye area of close to 2 feet of snow, and a lot of South Dakota saw quite a bit of snow. Even over in the border of Minnesota and South Dakota saw near 2 feet of snow. And also behind me, Twin Cities had over a foot of snow, and also much of southern Minnesota, even portions to the north slightly, had some more snow. So they saw the bulk of it, we did not, and that's okay. But let's take a look at the next graphic if we want to swing on over to the next one. Here we go. Now, this is from the La Crosse weather station. We figured well, I don't know what's going on this camera, but that's okay. Anyway, so here's some more snowfall totals. This is in Wisconsin and northeastern Iowa. Our friend Matt Hoffman, now he decided last night that he would go out there and measure the snow every little bit. I don't know what his final record was that he kept out there, but quite a bit of snowfall nonetheless throughout most of Wisconsin. Northeast Iowa did pick up on some of that snow. I'm sure it's probably hard to read for you folks at home, but nonetheless, Wisconsin, Minnesota, South Dakota, they all saw quite a bit of snow. And speaking of Minnesota, let's translate back into the next little do-ditty here. Now, right now, they are sitting at their third snowiest winter of all time at 72.9 inches of snow. The record is 76.9 inches, as you see over there, and they're very close to beating that record. We'll see what happens in the next 4 weeks or so if they can indeed beat that record. But they are pretty close, of about 4 inches away. So if we take a look at the final little graphic we have for today. Right now at this stage, this red line dictates the current winter, and that yellow line behind me up here is the current record. So at this point, they are above their record. But will they hold on to it? We'll find out. But right now, nonetheless, they are above that, so it's been just an unbelievable snow season for the folks up in Minnesota, and also the Northeast as well. But let's see if they can hold on to that record, or they might not. We'll see what happens. But all right, now we'll go back to the exciting graphics, and we're just going to take you over to a really fun city of Skykomash, Washington. Yes, our friends in Skykomash, Washington. They're going to see a storm enter the Pacific coast here in the next few days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Now, it's going to be in the low 20s to about 17 by Thursday. Snowy pattern, and then by Friday, Saturday, it all clears out, 17 and 23 by Friday and Saturday. So we'll see what happens there. That storm could affect us by the middle of the week. We'll find out later in tonight's show, but for now, we're going to send it back to the desk with Nick.
All right, let's take a look and see what we got tonight for our trivia question. Talking a little bit about what was going on last week with our record warm temperatures. There were some records that were set recently, and we'll find out what the trivia answer is after our break. It is about the record warm temperatures. There's some cities that set a new record, and you'll find out what the answer is after our next commercial break. But before our commercial break, let's go over to Rachael Witter with your national weather.
Well, we are remaining pretty quiet here in Iowa. We did see a couple flurries, and as you notice here, the jet stream has taken a plunge down southward. We are getting cooler temperatures off of this. Unfortunately, we aren't seeing any of that spring weather anymore, and we're not going to see it for a while, actually. And you can see here, there isn't even much of a ridge off to our east, so there isn't even warm temperatures pretty much anywhere across the United States. But by Tuesday morning, the low pressure system that Tyler mentioned will be right into the Pacific Northwest, giving some snow showers up in the higher elevations, some rain showers behind that in the Pacific Northwest. We're going to remain pretty clear and quiet for the next couple of days at least. And there is a low pressure system that's giving some troublesome weather off to the east here. Some portions of Pennsylvania and into Maryland and Delaware, though they're getting some pretty high snow amounts. Down to the south, they are getting some snow showers. And looking at our national next rad radar, you can see off to the east here, there's that low pressure system that we saw this weekend. We saw rain showers from that. That has since moved east. We are seeing some wraparound precipitation off to our north here, some snow showers up into Minnesota and some portions of eastern Iowa as well. It's mainly rain for most of the east coast, but there is some snow off to the northern states at that. For the next 6 to 10 days, unfortunately, we are in a pretty decent chance for having some cold temperatures, as is most of the country. Down south, go figure, again, warm temperatures for the next 6 to 10 days. And for the next 6 to 10 days in terms of precip, a good chance for being pretty wet for the next 6 to 10 days. We're going to see a couple of systems move through as the week goes on, and headed into the weekend that could possibly dump some snow, unfortunately. So we are making a return to winter, and it is kind of hitting us pretty hard. But for the next 6 to 10 days, don't rule out some snow, maybe even some accumulation. So with that, I'll take it back to Nick at the desk.
All right, thank you, Rachael. We're going to go on a short break here, and we'll come back with our trivia question, Iowa weather. And welcome back to Size Eyes in the Skies. Let's find out what's going on with that trivia question here. So our trivia question is, what Iowa city or cities set new record highs last Thursday? And our answer or answers are Lamoni and Ottumwa. They both actually set a high and a high. Lamoni said 69 for a high, and Ottumwa said 68 for a high, both breaking records that were set in 1981. So pretty big things that happened. That was really record warm temperatures. Ames came kind of closer to Des Moines, but they were off by like a degree or two. So let's go find out what's going on in Iowa today with Liz Tees.
Thanks, Nick. Definitely a much colder day today than those 60s and almost up into the 70s that we saw last week. Right now, we're sitting right around 29 degrees, winds around 16 miles an hour, and those are going to continue to increase overnight. A little bit of wind. I know it was pretty gusty when I was coming into the studio. We're sitting under some pretty heavy cloud cover right now, and that cloud cover extends through most of the state. You can see even up in Storm Lake and into Waterloo, they're seeing cloudy skies. Clarinda, however, is starting to see some peaks of the sun, although now I guess it would be the moon. But they're starting to see some peaks of sky as opposed to the clouds. So hopefully that makes its way towards Ames. So tonight there's a small chance of flurries, northwest winds around 10 to 20 miles an hour. So again, the winds are going to start picking up. Our low will be around 18 degrees. So definitely a lot chillier than the 30s we had all week last week for our lows. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy. Again, that sun will start peeking out about 3 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow. Northwest winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. They'll calm down as we go later into the day. High of around 35, so we could still see above freezing tomorrow. But for the most part, it's going to be a little bit chillier than those really nice temperatures we saw last week. Again, tomorrow 35 degrees, 46 on Wednesday. And you can see on Thursday, there's actually another chance of snow as that system that Tyler mentioned in Washington starts to make its way this way. Friday, we're going to see highs only about 28. And I hate to say it, but Saturday is only looking to be about 24 degrees. So I know I personally really like this weather.
Definitely looks like we're switching back to winter.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Unfortunately enough. But yeah, you're right. That's that system that came out on the Pacific Coast. Could affect us on Thursday.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows how much of snow we might get? It's been kind of flip-flopping.
Yeah.
Some models have
They've
taken it
been-
farther
yeah.
south, some models have taken it right to us. So
It
we'll see what
really
happens. I
depends
don't know.
where that tracks. So
Looks
that'll
like
definitely.
you're going to need your scarf pretty
Oh.
much all
Oh.
weekend
Hey-o.
into
All
the
week.
weekend.
And
yeah,
put
no.
away the umbrellas, sadly.
Lame.
Well, and even out further though, there could be. I mean, we were looking at this in class today. Well, all four of us are in the same class. We can plug that. Nobody likes to talk about class on the show, but
Oh, you know, got it sometimes.
it's active. It's a very active pattern once again, and it seems like it always is heading into this time of the year, post the end of winter, heading into spring.
Yeah.
It's always going to be active. It seems like so.
Yeah.
We'll see what ends up happening or not. But
It did throw out that disclaimer last week to
Oh.
not get attached to those 50s and 60s because we
Something good.
have made that switch back to winter. But, you know, it is February, and it is February in Iowa, which says a lot. So
We had a thunderstorm in February in Iowa.
Yeah.
I'm still pretty happy with what
Yeah.
happened.
I was excited with the thunderstorm.
we've
It
had
gave me-
pretty cool.
pretty much
Yeah.
everything this February. We've had cold, we've had very warm, we've had thunderstorm, we've had snow now, and we did have some rain. So very
Crazy February.
varying
Yeah.
month, it seems like.
all over the place, yeah. And there was even I think it was some small graupel or hail that was in that thunderstorm as well too. Some people said.
I don't
so-
think I don't think there was any in Ames, but
Yeah.
I know like north of Ames and south of Ames had reports of hail. So
Right,
yeah.
and obviously up to the north. I think about north of Highway 20, there was ice up there,
Yeah.
freezing rain, and then snow obviously to the north, much further than that. So, what a weird storm. Very, very weird storm.
A little bit
but
of everything.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and even on Sunday, portions of southwestern Iowa were in the 60s. That's
True.
there.
Yeah.
So,
Huge change in temperature across the state.
I know, again, we were talking in class about how you would go like the distance of one county and you'd go from like 60s to 30s
Yeah.
over just one county. So
Pretty
shows how
significant.
crazy the weather was this
well,
weekend.
and
Yes.
the girls' state tournament's coming up, and guys' state tournament. You know, that's always the Iowa rumor, and I don't know what you want to call it, fairy tale. What is that? I don't know, but there's always a big nasty storm during one of those events. So
Got to put a damper on it somehow.
I know. Well, what can
Well,
we? I don't
hopefully
know.
everybody drives safe.
Yeah.
That's never
Drive
the case.
safe and dress
Nobody ever drives
appropriately.
safe. Or for the storm. Well, maybe. We'll see what ends up happening, but.
All right. So, for all of us here at Size Eyes, we hope you enjoyed the show tonight and learned a little bit too, hopefully. For all of us here, once again, have a nice night.